Good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Frazier taking a live look at one of our TxDOT cameras near Andrews, Texas. This is looking out to the west, and you can see in the distance very dark, ominous clouds and that heavy rain right where that highway is heading. Boy, oh boy, what is going on tonight? Well, we are looking at a severe thunderstorm outbreak. Two main areas of impact I'm watching is going to be out in New Mexico near Jal and also down south toward Marathon. So let's go ahead and take a look at where we're sitting right now, because temperatures across Midland, Odessa, and Big Spring beginning to plummet rather quickly. We have a lot of cloud cover. It looks very ominous. Where's the rain? Is it going to be hitting us? That's always the big question. Well, no. In short, the answer is no. Most of Midland, Odessa, Big Spring, we're not going to see anything. We're seeing that high humidity value, though. You walk outside, feels very soupy, very muggy. It's like you're back at the beach. We got the sand. Now we got the moisture. Just where's the water? I'm not seeing a whole lot in terms of actual rainfall across the region. It's just going to be localized within those very heavy showers and thunderstorms. All right, moving right on along. We have been seeing a lot of wind gusts associated with some of these really strong storms. Nearby cities, still staying under about 30 miles an hour for the most part. Odessa seeing those gusts up to about 31, Midland at about 32. Everywhere else, not getting anything too significant, which is certainly a nice start. But let's jump right into it, because we started off yesterday pretty early in the day, right around 3 o'clock, with a severe thunderstorm watch for much of the area. Today, kind of the same thing, although it waited until about 4 o'clock to really be issued. And much of this activity, well, it's very limited. It's actually going to be mainly from Big Bend to Midland. Now, don't get me wrong, that's a large spread of an area, but any storms that pop up in those regions could certainly go severe. So let's jump into that radar. Here's the main area of interest I was looking at. It's going to be down toward Marathon and out toward Jal. But I want to start at the very beginning. You notice right about here, this is about 2 hours ago, Fort Stockton and Pecos, you had these two storms. They begin to separate and they go severe on their own. They combine with this other system out near Fort Davis, and now we have two unique severe warned storms. Not the craziest thing we've heard of, but it looks like much of the Permian Basin is going to be avoiding that activity. But let's zoom in and focus on what there is. Right now on top of Jal and Eunice, we're really seeing those strong storms, and in effect until 6:30 Mountain Daylight Time. That's going to be in about another 20 minutes. The latest reading from this storm in particular is actually going to say 2-inch diameter hail, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Now, when you have not just the hail, but the wind nearby as well, what's all this stuff out toward Carlsbad? Well, that's actually something you wouldn't be too surprised about. That's actually dust storm warning. Yeah, we're seeing strong wind gusts associated with that storm itself. It's blowing a lot of dust all the way out farther to the west, while the actual cloud cover is moving out to the east. That cloud cover is what you're seeing on top of, if I can zoom out, there we go, on top of Midland, Odessa, and Big Spring. So all the cloud cover, it's from that little storm. We're also looking at a couple little leftover storms trying out near Brownfield, but then all the way down to the south, we got a little bit more activity out near Marathon and Fort Stockton. Just south of Fort Stockton, one of those storms, the Fort Stockton one, is still severe warned until about 7:15. The other one is severe warned until 8 o'clock. What specifically am I looking at before I get into that little red box down at the bottom there? Well, I'm actually looking at not anything as strong as what I saw in New Mexico. We're looking at ping-pong-sized hail, about 1.5 inches in diameter, and about 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts associated with it. Versus the one over at Fort Stockton, it is going to be golf ball-sized hail, about 1.75 inches in diameter, and about 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Still pretty strong. It's not going to be going away anytime soon. These storms still have a lot of fuel in them, and really until the sun goes down, they're going to have a whole lot more fuel going into the next couple of hours. So what can we expect beyond this? Well, you can really see anyone with that level 2 risk, and it's not just West Texas. Look how far this goes up to. This goes into southern Nebraska. This is how big of a storm system we're looking at. It's all because of the dry line. Now, the dry line itself, it's not necessarily a line. It's kind of bendy and curvy. You can see that associated with that level 2 risk. You know, weather isn't perfect, just like we are. So, hey, things are going to be a little bit wonky, a little bit crazy. Here's kind of the telltale sign that we aren't going to have a whole lot of active weather. A lot of the storm chasers, professional storm chasers, they're out in Lubbock, Amarillo, and up into Oklahoma and Kansas. Okay, that kind of tells us a lot better than yesterday when they were all in Fort Stockton. Now, don't get me wrong, we're still looking at some pretty active weather, just nothing so crazy that we're seeing a big tornado outbreak. Now, we still have that tornado threat. It's still very small, but it's not zero. So actually, let me go back to the radar. I want to show you guys. I saw a couple of you ask some questions on Facebook. Are we seeing any kind of rotation with these storms? As a matter of fact, not really. So let me move it off to the side here. Get that velocity reading going. And when it comes to velocity, you want to see the bright red and bright green together. All right, let's head up to that large scale system in Jaw. It's all red. So no rotation whatsoever. It's good. We already have large hail and strong winds. Out near Fort Stockton and Marathon, noticing some small rotation, but it's not very bright. That's going to be, you know, winds going a little like brushing against each other, not like, you know, like doing my karate chops out here. That's probably enough of that. So let's go past these storms. We saw plenty of them. We're going to see more of them in the next couple of days. Overnight tonight, everything's staying nice and calm. 10% chance of any of those leftover showers. Just the leftovers. That's all we're going to be getting. We're not going to be getting anything too crazy. 65 degrees, mostly cloudy. Above average for this time of year. Average low is about 53, so 65. It's not the end of the world. I can't complain too much. You still have a lot of that flow from the southeast. That's going to be increasing our moisture in the atmosphere and increasing cloud cover throughout the next couple of days. Your weather pattern heading out the door tomorrow, I suggest going with the short sleeve shirt, maybe the light jacket if you want to, or a rain jacket. Umbrella too. 30% chance of storms. This is why I keep them low. The rain chances, I haven't really gotten anything over 40% in quite some time. And it's because it's going to be very isolated in nature. If you're in the perfect area like Fort Stockton, like Jaw, like Wing, like Kermit, you could see these storms a lot more often than places like Snyder, Big Spring, Midland, and even Odessa. So, yeah, I know we all want to see the rain, but do you want to see the severe chances with it? Well, tomorrow's severe chance, not going to be nearly as bad. The models actually have this stuff kind of spot on. This is what it said it was an hour ago was going to be. We had that one storm near Wink, and although it has it moving out toward Andrews, although that wasn't the case, we have the one out near Fort Stockton, Elver Marathon. A lot of this stuff, it's gone by around 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. So just a little bit longer, we can deal with it. And then we head into early tomorrow morning. Lots and lots of cloud cover. We started off today very muggy, a little misty too. You have a lot of that cloud cover. It feels a lot warmer outside. That's going to be it. That's going to be that entire system. That's going to be all that moisture in the atmosphere. Moving right along into the afternoon tomorrow, storms begin to pop up right around 3, maybe 4 o'clock. Just in the same spot, right near Marathon, northern end of Big Bend National Park, and this stuff is likely going to move its way out toward Dryden. But notice just out in the middle of Ector County right there. Notice a little bit of activity? Yeah, Midland, Odessa may be seeing a chance for an isolated shower or thunderstorm. We'll see though. The Midland, Odessa bubble, it's a strong one. And by bubble, I mean we kind of have a dome, an artificial dome over our area, preventing us from seeing a whole lot of significant severe storms. Yeah, it's you know, like an old wives' tale. It's not actually the truth, but it's kind of the pattern we see a lot around out here. And we're not going to see any significant activity until we get an outflow boundary from a nearby thunderstorm, or it's a large-scale system. Because this stuff is very isolated in nature, that's why I've been keeping those rain chances low. Moving along to about 8 o'clock tomorrow night. stuff is gone already. What? That was it. What about your Friday? Friday morning, starting off the day, cloud cover, a little bit higher humidity, but I'm looking at very isolated stuff. Maybe out towards Snyder, maybe Howard County, northern Howard County, and that's it. This stuff is gone. Rain chances themselves are just going to be quite limited over the next couple of days. Limited to only certain areas, but you still have that severe risk. Now, the severe risk though, the factors are going down. We're just going to be under a level 1 risk for your Thursday and your Friday. That still means wind and hail are going to be the main threats. You could have that small tornado potential, but models just aren't showing that. So, great, no tornado potential. Wind and hail, I think we're a little bit better at dealing with. But most of the stuff is going to stay out to our easternmost regions, kind of where we've been seeing a lot of activity to begin with. It's all along that dry line. For Friday, most of the stuff is moving up farther and farther to the north, but you still have places like Hobbs, Andrews, Lamesa, maybe even Odessa sitting right on top of the areas where you could see that wind and that hail threat. Now, it's certainly on the smaller side, much smaller than what we're expecting throughout the rest of this evening, but it's also something we certainly want to keep in mind. So, over the next couple of days, I'm just not looking at a ton of activity. It's going to be very limited, 30% coverage for your Thursday. Friday, it's going to be even lower. Saturday, I'm going it back up to about 30% because of the way this entire system is situated. We have that warm front to our north, we have the dry line and trough out to our west, and it's all just that perfect setup. Right along here, you start to see a lot of these storms bubbling up and then moving up to the north, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing over the next couple of days. We still have, we still have that severe potential for Thursday and Friday, and possibly on Saturday too. I know Alex isn't going to like me for saying that, but that's what it is. By Sunday and Monday, a lot of stuff clears out. Conditions begin drying up. You see a bit more sunshine, temperatures returning into those 90s. Then Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday next week, still looking at some of those small chances for rain. Still pretty far on the models. Still not showing a whole lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So I'm keeping the chances, you guessed it, low. The chances are staying low. Still looking at a lot of those localized impacts across the region. So before I let you guys go, I'm going to jump back to the radar real quick. Show you an overlook as to what we are currently seeing in case anything has changed, and I'll show you the latest readings, or I'll read you out the latest readings from the National Weather Service. Latest information from them, not showing a lot of new stuff. They were mainly expecting the bulk of activity to be around Fort Stockton to Alpine, extending up into basically Jal, New Mexico, and Wink, Texas. That's exactly where we're seeing a lot of that activity. That's certainly some good news. Latest from, let's see, Andrews, Texas, and Lee, New Mexico. Still about 2-inch hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds. And the severe thunderstorm in Pecos and Brewster, Texas, that's going to be a 1.5-inch hail and about 60-mile-per-hour winds. We do actually have a flash flood warning in Big Bend National Park. They saw a strong thunderstorm there earlier, but you do have that very high flooding potential as well. Nothing significant, at least reported by emergency managers or people, school districts, in terms of damage associated with these storms. So that's certainly some good news, and I think we can all appreciate that. But of course, before we let you go, we want to make sure that you download that News West 9 app. Unfortunately, NOAA Radio is still